This is the April 14th meeting of the Porter County Stormwater Management Board.
What just happened, Mom? They stole my seat. Okay, so.
Okay, so let's, good morning. This is the Stormwater Management Board via video teleconference, April 14th, 2020, Porter County Stormwater Management Board meeting. It's a little past 9 o'clock. First of all, let's please do the Pledge of Allegiance before we get started.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
Thank you. So we're going to move right into the consent agenda for the Drainage Board. We have one claim for Cobb Ditch, and the Drainage Board would be for the 3 commissioners.
Motion to approve.
And I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Surveyor Breitsky.
Surveyor Breitsky is not on the Drainage Board. It's the 3 commissioners.
I'm strictly stormwater.
That's all right.
Commissioner Blaney.
Yes.
Commissioner Good.
Yes.
And Commissioner Big is not in attendance. You have 2 votes.
And it advances. Okay, now we'll move to the consent agenda for the Stormwater Management Board. We'll bring the surveyor Kevin Breitsky in now, as he is part of this board. This board makes up of 3 commissioners and the county surveyor. As you can see, we have claims out of the Stormwater Fund. The agenda it has those dollar amounts outlined on there. There's also a claims on here for the old South Haven Northeast Storm Sewer project as well too. So I'll throw that to the floor for action.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the consent agenda for the Stormwater Management Board. Roll call, please, Kurt.
Surveyor Breitsky.
Yes.
Commissioner Blaney.
Yes.
Commissioner Good.
Yes.
You have a 3-0 vote.
And so we'll now move forward on the next part of the agenda now that we've gotten the consent agendas done. Next on the agenda, we have Stormwater Management Board. We have announcements. And what I'd like to do is turn it over to the county engineer, Mike Novotny, to sort of go over these projects and these announcements that we're going to be doing. We'll try to give you some geographics as to where this is at. And, people that are watching, this may be a subdivision that you may live in or know, but let's move to that, and I'll turn it over to Mike Novotny. Mike.
Good morning, everybody. In this difficult times, one of the essential government functions that our department and our stormwater program is striving to provide is continued work on our public works projects. That includes projects that are underway right now, maintenance work that's underway right now, as well as continuing design and the preparation of contract documents for upcoming projects. And what you have in front of you this morning are 3 of those projects. What we're announcing this morning is that we're finishing the contract documents, and we'll be seeking prices through quote process from qualified contractors for these 3 projects. And I'll go through them individually. Seasons View Subdivision Stormwater Management System Improvements. The Seasons View Subdivision is located in the west part of the county, in Porter Township, near County Road 275 South and County Road 725 West. It has an existing detention basin and swale that are plagued by poor drainage and standing water pretty much year round. What we're going to do is reconstruct and enhance that existing stormwater infrastructure It'll include a large bioretention basin as part of the detention basin, enhancements to the swale and some culvert work to address those existing drainage and stormwater management issues. Again, we're going to seek sealed quotes here in the very near future, with the idea of opening quotes at probably the next meeting in May for contract award. The second project on that list is Pleasant Minor Subdivision, and there's some numbers and letters that represent that subdivision behind that. This is a small subdivision located at County Road 950 South and County Road 50 East, south of Couts in Pleasant Township. This project is intended to address longstanding flooding and drainage issues affecting both the rear yard and the right-of-way. It's impacting performance of septic systems for these lots within the subdivision. And so what we're going to do is construct new stormwater infrastructure, including new storm sewer, to drain this area and convey runoff from this area into Pleasant Township ditch. Again, sealed quotes will be opened and a contract awarded at a future meeting. Again, we're targeting the next meeting in May for that opening and award. And then the last on this list is the Washington Square Subdivision Stormwater Management System improvements. Washington Square Subdivision is located in Washington Township, immediately east of the Porter County Airport, on County Road 325 East, also known as Rig Road. There's a detention basin and storm sewer system already serving this subdivision. The detention basin is a nuisance for the surrounding residents as it holds water and only a small amount of water year round. We're going to reconstruct a portion of the storm sewer and the outlet from that detention basin and enhance the detention basin to address those issues and increase the amount of storage and water quality improvements that detention basin provides. Again, quotes will be opened and a contract awarded at a future meeting. And again, we're targeting the next meeting in May for that opening and award, with the idea of trying to keep local contractors at work for as long as the duration of this, COVID-19 pandemic endures. So happy to entertain any questions from the board on these projects.
With the Washington Square subdivision, historically, we did some work on the pond about 20 years ago, but we were aware that the outlet was reverse graded, and that was by the design of the previous developer from about 40 years ago. So I'm glad to see this. When we installed an outlet across the airport and they worked with us, and that was about 1998, I think. And we also created a portion of that as a regulated drain. So we were able to finance the improvement. So I'm really glad and really endorse seeing this. The other issue we have is north of here, there's a little road that's stubbed out right up against it's not really the airport property, it's privately owned by the Mussman family, or at least was. And we were making efforts to get easements along the east side of the subdivision in cooperation with that adjoining property owner that's kind of surrounded by the airport, to see if we could also get that water back and around, because that's one of the issues of the subdivision, where the water just kind of piles up at the end of that street. So hopefully in the long run, if somebody's listening to this, this is also something still on the sites of the county.
And Kevin, I would just verify from staff's perspective that we would view this as sort of the first phase of perhaps multiple phases in the area to continue to address drainage and long-standing drainage issues in this particular area.
To assure the residents out here, this is the first phase. So this isn't the end of the work they're proposing.
Any other questions for the announcements? Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
We'll move on now to the next part of the agenda. We have design and construction assistance agreement for section 219 storm sewer improvements. And Mike, why don't you take us through this one too?
Yeah, and so what's before you this morning is the formal agreement between the board and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to conduct the Squirrel Creek diversion project under the Corps' Section 219 Environmental Infrastructure Program. Kurt, if you would forward one slide ahead, you'll have a visual depiction of that project. And the Squirrel Creek diversion project, the board's familiar with it. We've spoken about this before, but it includes, for those of you watching, on Facebook Live, we've got 800 linear foot of channel improvements along the west side of McCool Road. When Old South Haven was originally built, Squirrel Creek was put into a storm sewer underneath the subdivision. Since that decision was made, the storm sewer has been undersized, and that's been problematic for the residents in this particular area since that time. So what we will do is construct 800 linear feet of channel improvements, provide enough capacity along the west side of McCool Road to conduct Squirrel Creek North. That will then drop into a new 54-inch interceptor or relief sewer that will run up to Midway Drive then and down Midway Drive to the detention basin located adjacent on the east side of South Haven Elementary School. In entering, and we've discussed this before with the board, in entering this agreement with the Corps, and this is the formality of that agreement represented here this morning. The Corps, right now, the current estimated project cost is just under $2 million, $1,991,667, I believe, is the current estimate. The Corps, the federal government, will be contributing $1.5 million to this project. Then the remaining 25%, or just under $500,000, would be the county's share, the Stormwater Board share. So this agreement formalizes that arrangement and relationship, speaks to how the project is going to be conducted, which we're already underway with Army Corps and their staff out of the Chicago district. I've asked Attorney McClure to review the agreement, and I believe he's found it to be in good order. So I put that on the agenda, and staff is recommending that the board approve that agreement here this morning.
I have had the opportunity to review the agreement, and I find it in good form. It's a complicated agreement because we're dealing in a complicated issue, but we have all the cost share within the contract. And so I have reviewed it.
Is this something we recommend to the commissioners, or does this board approve this agreement?
This board approves the agreement.
I'll make a motion that we approve this agreement.
I'll second. So we have a motion and a second for the Section 219 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. Any other discussion? Any other questions? I think this is a long overdue structure improvement that will help not only the water within South Haven, but also helping us carry the water out of South Haven, which is sort of an important thing too. We have to have some downstream relief here, which will allow us to get rid of that water a little bit quicker, and also allow us to be able to hold it and clean it, which is very important too. So I'd like to see federal money involved. I know it's a tough agreement, but 1.5 million into that area could surely go a long way. So that would be my only comment.
I would also comment that this is important to protect McCool Road as well, and protect it from overtopping in flood event. So this is an added protection.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Kurt, why don't you do a roll call?
Surveyor Breisky,
Yes.
Commissioner Blaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Good.
Yes.
We have a 3-0 vote.
Okay, great. We can move forward on that, and more good things happening up there. So that's good. Next up, we have project updates. Mike, you want to give us a little bit of update on Ludington?
Yeah, so as the board's aware, we're underway with the second phase of our Ludington Ditch Arm 10 drain tile reconstruction project. This is a major drain tile that serves almost 1,000 acres of drainage area in the area of County Road 375 South, between County Road 200 West and County Road 300 West. We conducted phase one starting last year. Goff was the contractor on that first phase, and they're wrapping up with punch list. Johns Brothers completed the second phase, which extended the drain tile, the new drain tile, about another half a mile to the north. And they are going to be finishing up their work probably late this week, finishing the last of the tile tomorrow. They've got a few hundred feet left. They're putting in the perforated tile to add to the drainage that the system provides overall. And they'll be grading things out and sort of wrapping things up later this week, just in time for the landowner to get in there and start prepping for planting. Kurt, if you would forward one slide, a couple of pictures from this project. And I included these in the middle of the picture on the left. You'll notice a cable, if you can see that, hanging over the drain tile between the two trench boxes there. That is that's a regional fiber optic line. So much coordination with AT&T regarding that crossing, making sure it was protected during construction, and we didn't want to break it. Otherwise, the contractor would have been significantly on the hook for each minute that line was down. I would say the contractor, Johns Brothers, did a fantastic job in conducting that crossing. We're always very satisfied with their work. What you see in the picture on the right, where that stone is in the middle of the picture, that's the fiber optic cable covered back up. So successful crossing. And like I said, they're wrapping that project back up this week. Kurt, would you go back one slide and we'll continue with the project updates? Wanted to just quickly walk through what we've got going on right now in South Haven and what's immediately coming up. The Northeast Storm Sewer Project, we just have punch list and restoration. Grimmer and their landscaping subcontractor will be starting up that punch list and restoration work here late this month into early next, and we'll pretty much be done with that project at that point. Enter the warranty and maintenance period then once they're wrapped up with the punch list. The South Central Storm Sewer Project, that's underway right now. You've probably seen a couple updates go out to the South Haven residents via email. You may have seen it in your weekly reports. But Goff is off to a very good start on that project. They started at the new outfall in Haven Hollow Park and have worked their way are working their way upstream. Right now they're on 700 North, working their way west to Juniper, at which point they'll start working up Juniper to Pinewood and address those long-standing drainage and flooding issues that exist in that area. I would note here that we can't get away from the unknown and unlocated utilities in South Haven. We did come across one unknown sanitary sewer lateral that project team did a nice job coming up with a resolution to in short order. But the other issue we found on 700 North is an abandoned telephone duct carrying wires, but also a whole lot of stormwater on us as well. So we're working on a solution to that, just to make sure that drainage function that old telephone duct was providing isn't lost with our project. Kurt, if you would forward 2 slides ahead, you've got a couple of pictures from that South Central work. What you have on your left is the new outfall, new 48-inch storm sewer to serve this South Central area. This outfall goes into a natural ravine where flow gets attenuated further, and then into a detention basin essentially before it's discharged to Salt Creek. We are also working with Portage Township, talking about potentially working together on improvements to this ravine and to the detention basin to improve the water quality benefits it provides. So that may be a future additional step here, in addition to our gray infrastructure with some green infrastructure enhancements. And then on your right, the photo just shows an open trench with a trench box and the storm sewer going in. So very pleased so far with the contractor's performance on this work. And beyond the utilities, we found really good subsurface condition and the work's gone very well. So Kurt may be back 2 more and we'll wrap up the project updates. Thank you very much. We just had moving down the list, the storm sewer system lining and rehab project. We just had a project kickoff meeting yesterday with SAK Construction. They are ready to get started the last week of April here with the pre-construction cleaning and televising, getting everything ready for lining. That's just a final cleaning. Remember last year we did the majority of the cleaning and heavy cleaning to remove that 300 tons of debris out of these storm sewers. So we're issuing the notice to proceed. I think everything's moving forward well with that project. That'll continue through the rest of the year with their lining work. And then I wanted to mention the Midway Drive Detention Basin Expansion Project. That is the detention basin immediately adjacent to the South Haven Elementary School that we just talked about with the Army Corps. We're going to do that project this summer. And right now our consultant, Burke Engineering, is finishing up the bidding documents for that. We plan to get those out on the street, if not this week, then early next. And get prices back on that project so we can conduct that detention basin expansion enhancement project this summer ahead of when our new storm sewer and all the diversion work goes in next summer. So we'll have a nice newly constructed and newly expanded detention basin to receive that expanded storm sewer and Squirrel Creek diversion that'll be constructed with the Army Corps next year. Other than that, the staff has done a great job so far this year keeping up on maintenance work, especially given the current situation. A lot of our employees working remotely, but doing a great job keeping up with contractors, keeping up with drainage complaints, and getting work orders issued to address those maintenance needs out there. Year to date, we've issued 37 project numbers, 33 of which are work orders. The average value of those work orders is just over $12,000. So again, that's the department's way, this utility of being swift of foot and getting those maintenance needs and repair needs addressed in short order, using our on-call contractors to conduct those repair and maintenance projects that are smaller in nature. And that work is, continues to be in response to complaints and issues as they pop up. And again, spreading work, around the county as much as we can. We've got, looking ahead later this year and into the fall, we've got a number of additional drain tile reconstruction projects and regulated drain work down in South County that'll be done later this year. So with that, I'm happy to entertain any questions that the board might have on projects or programs that we have underway or may soon have underway.
Just a comment, good job in protecting that fiber optic. People have no idea. You've done that a little bit. Not only is there cost to contractor, but delays in the job itself. Likewise with the other infrastructure. When we retrofit, we're not building new system, or we're building new systems, but there's pre-existing systems that are typically not mapped. We have no idea they exist. And we've got to protect all of our interests. And good call on the telephone line, because we have those telephone cables, sometimes other infrastructure and conduit that carries water that we're just not aware of because of all the infiltration and inflow that we experience from groundwater. We need to account for that water too, and Mike's doing that. So that's good.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Thank you, Michael, for your update. I know we have a lot of work going on out there, and it's good to see that we're still performing and getting things done. And just, for those people that are tuning in this morning, since we started the Stormwater Board over 3 years ago now, I think we're into our 4th year. A lot of these projects that you see that are on this agenda and the things that we talk about, everything, you know, we have a myriad of issues out there over the last 40 years that, you know, because of funds or because of whatever, weren't able to get done. And now we have the funds to go in and fix these things. And everything that we're doing here is all based off of priority. It's based off of worst to best. So we're trying to tackle a lot of the worst problems, and you know, we're starting at the bottom and we're moving forward. And over the last 4 years, we've gotten a lot of work done, but we still have a lot more work to do. I think we have a great department in place, and we're methodically taking these projects down and moving the ball forward as best we can. And we will continue to do, and this board will continue to monitor that process and continue to help lead it forward. So I think it's a well-oiled machine at this point. We're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep doing more projects and keep fixing things out there to make our water drain better and be able to hold it and clean it before we release it. And that's the whole point of stormwater. So in a nutshell, anyway. So yeah, just
a comment. At the beginning of our meeting, we did a regulated drain portion. It's good to remind people, as you have from time to time, that we have monies from the old system. There's a statutory requirement for a drainage board to exist. That'd be the 3 commissioners. At one point we had citizen members, but we've gone back to the 3 commissioners to take care of the money we receipted in the past from assessments. So those people who put money in, we're still using that where it belongs. But we kind of moved from that old archaic, and that's my feeling, archaic state system of drainage boards to this much better system, a stormwater management board, where we can finance these projects efficiently and effectively.
Good point, Kevin. And I think that that's the job that this board is tasked with for going future and going forward. And I like our progress. I like the team we've assembled, but this is a long distance run, and we have a long way to go. But I know a lot of the things that we've just fixed in the 4 years, we've seen a lot of improvements in those areas already. So more to come, and it's all positive news. And we're excited to continue to keep upgrading wherever we can. So with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and for participating. And we will have a commissioners meeting here at 10 o'clock. But for all general purpose, this board of the Stormwater Management Board stands in recess. Thank you.
Thank you.